What is your reaction to Big Ben sort of airing out what happened in action?
Well, one, I'm a little bit surprised because Big Ben coming out and airing out what's said on the field, like I've heard so much worse than that, and I kept that in-house. I'll talk to my teammates, I'll go back to the huddle, and we'll address that on the field. Even going back to last year when Juju Smith-Schuster, one of our favorite players, he laid a big smackdown on Burfict, I believe it was, and he said after the game to the world, that was karma. So if you're going to call out Burfict, then you have to also call out your own teammates because within this rivalry, things are said on the field and they stay on the field. As long as Big Ben didn't get hurt and Burfict didn't stick his helmet into his or knock him out the game or even take it off the field into the tunnel, I'm perfectly fine with what he said. If I sat here and said out loud all the things that were said to me and sometimes what I said to other players, I wouldn't be on the show, okay? Because these words are not suitable for kids. So Burfict just said, you're next. He could have been talking about anything. You're next to be flat on your back. You're next to take this L. You're next to take whatever. I think Big Ben sometimes, and I love Big Ben, he's a legend, soon to be Hall of Famer. Sometimes he's a little bit sensitive. And right there, it showed his sensitivity.
I look at Ben and I'm trying to Ben's 36, he's got a family, he's got a wife, he's got a life. Like, I'm wondering if he's looking at it and being like, dude, like, come on, like, we're all in on this together. Like, we're making good money here. We're having a good time. Like, let's not try to hurt anybody. Remember, this was a history here. Le'Veon Bell got knocked out of a game by Burfict, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, that play happened. Antonio Brown was the one who called it karma after Juju knocks out Burfict. Like, it's getting to the point where it's dangerous. Remember, Ryan Shazier got hurt against the Bengals in a game last year. Like, I almost see if Ben's, like, trying to be the parent in the room and be like, all right, it's one thing to play tough, but when you start saying you're next, that's when me as a dad with kids and with a life and money in the bank, I start thinking to myself, health and safety-wise, dude, we're all in this together. As much as we're competitors, chill out.
Just take it easy, man.
Just take it easy. Like, relax,
ain't gonna take it
But
easy.
that's not every player, though.
That's what I'm saying. Ben is probably thinking.
Certain guys can dim the light. And I've always thought that there's individuals that could dim it, and that means they go into the game and are like, you know what, I'm going to just chill out a little bit. I'm not going to be as turned up. There's other guys, and it's basically on or off. And with Burfict, it is on. There is no dim switch. When he's off the field.
Has there ever been a guy that you beefed with on the field and you saw him maybe like a couple months later off the field and it still carried over?
Yeah, there's individuals that I thought when I ran into these guys, whether it's in L.A. and Vegas, and I was going to have to fight them. But then I realized after
Tell me a story.
coming off the
What
field,
is that? Because that's so interesting to me because they hate Burfict. They hate him.
Well, listen, anytime I was in a division rival, and that's the NFC North, where it was the NFC West, I thought the guys that I talked trash with, I didn't like. LaRon Landry, safety, he was talking crazy to me one game. He caught me slipping on a simple drag route, and he knocked me on my feet. The hit looked worse than it really was. I get up, and I'm just looking at him like, all right, you got me. And he starts barking. He's barking. He's talking about me. He's talking about my mom. He's talking crazy. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this dude's really going over the top. So I went up to him after one of the plays, and I was like, man, you need to chill out. And he's like, man, forget that. I don't know you. You don't know me, whatever. So in my head, I'm thinking, I'm going to have to fight this dude. Now, mind you, I've only been in a couple fights on the field. I just don't do that. But I'm like, I'm going to have to fight this dude. To the point, after the game, I walked up to Calvin Johnson. I said, hey, listen, I'm not going to shake hands, and I'm not going to take my helmet off. I have to go address something. If you see some fists swinging, just make sure you don't let anybody hit me from behind. He was like, I got your back. As I'm walking towards Landry, he's walking towards me. I'm like, here we go. Heart starts racing. I'm about to be fighting on the field. Hope I don't embarrass my family or get a huge fine after this. As he gets closer to me, he's like, hey, 13, you know it's all love, man. I'm just keeping it in between the lines. And I'm like, man, am I tripping? So to your point, at that point, I had to hit the reset and be like, man, Nate, I got to chill out. I got to chill out. But that's me. That's Nate Burleson, level-headed. I look at things optimistically. It's all rainbows and smiles for me. But there's other players, they see dark. And they go dark. And that's how they play the game, and that's how they play at a high level.
Vontaze doesn't have that it's all love moment. You know what I mean?
It doesn't exist.
That's what stays one way.
Yeah, in watching him as a fan, like, Vontaze is the reason that parents get into fistfights at AYSO soccer games, because it's like, he's the problem kid out there. He's the one who's hitting and who's kicking and who's not playing by the, and is going to hurt my kid. So I respect the code and the laws of leave it on the field. But Vontaze Burfict has transcended that. There's something called martial law, where they roll in the tape. What is it, those movies like The Purge?
So this is martial law
We
declared?
have declared The Purge and martial law in Steelers-Bengals, because I honestly think Ben's like, never mind Juju, I could be next.
Yes, that's it.
Like, he's gonna end my career one of these games. I genuinely mean that. And I also think it's fascinating that the silence is deafening coming from the Bengals. We have not had one of these guys who adheres to the code and the laws saying, you know, Vontaze has got to chill out. In fact, on the contrary, most defend him. Most are apologists. Everybody, current and former players, from Whitworth to Dunlap, have always said it's the scrutiny he gets. Vontaze plays the game a different way. Because I don't care if you played pro ball or you played Pop Warner or high school or anything. The dog on your team, like the bad dog, is the guy that you want to play with.
Facts.
You love the guy who's dirty. That's why the guys love Richie Incognito. They love him because when you're out there, you want Vontaze on your side. So the Bengals don't say squat, man. They love him.
Dennis Rodman, prime example.
You
We love
want him,
90s
man.
NBA.
Fair.
He was nasty, and he made teams better.